handheld that's now entered to be, I want to say, maybe a Switch killer, possibly. All right, it's called
Well,
the Steam Deck.
okay.
It's Valve's handheld PC system.
All right. So I want to say one thing before we get into this, because there's a lot to get into here. Why are you calling it the Steam Deck? Because you know that there is a product called the Stream Deck, I believe from Elgato, which is made for streamers, which is a little side caddy thing to your keyboard that has hotkeys for all your damn streaming stuff. Why would you call it the Steam Deck when you have the Stream Deck? And it's super popular. Everybody knows what it is, and everyone's complaining. Why? Why would you do that?
So basically, you're saying they should have called it the Steam Pro.
I mean, I don't know. Call it like the Steam Boy.
The Steam Boy. That's a stupid name.
Well, so is the Steam Deck. So is the Steam Deck. Call it something different.
It's just as dumb as the Steam Deck.
Well, I mean, there would be no confusion. That's the thing. That's the thing you got to get around, right? Why would they do that?
I say
why
Steam
would they
Pro.
do that?
I say Steam Pro.
Okay, call it whatever. You know, just don't call it the same thing as another product that's super popular that's already out on the market that everybody already knows, because they're going to get confused. It's terrible. All right. So they already got one strike against them. Already.
What? This is PC on the go, right? Like this is PC gaming on the go, essentially, right? I mean, it looks like a longer Switch that has sort of like a trackpad for like, touch integration.
Yeah.
Not even on the screen itself, but just on the side, just like the Steam controller had it didn't have actual thumbsticks. It had like the touch pads.
It did have the touch pads on there, which was a terrible idea. It really didn't do that well. But this is augmented. So they have the analog sticks and they have the trackpads, which is cool. So you can kind of use it like a mouse if you want. I believe it's optional. I think, say, take a game like Doom Eternal, you could use either or, which I think is kind of cool.
Let me ask you a question: Is Halo on Steam? All right, like, can I potentially play Halo on the go? All right.
There are Halo games that you can play via. I mean, you can play Halo games, period. There is the Master Chief Collection, which is on PC. I don't think it's in the Steam store because it's part of the Microsoft's Games Pass. And I think you can just also buy it a la carte if you wanted to and play it. And I believe all of the Halo games are supported now, if not most of them. Right? Because it used to be Halo 1 and 2. Those were direct Steam or direct PC ports. With some new additions and whatnot. And then when the Master Chief Collection came out, then they added that in there. Now, if you're asking, can you play this on the Steam Deck? Well, the answer is yes, because it doesn't have to be everything from the Steam store. Like, you can install Windows on it.
Okay, so it's legit a portable PC.
It's 100% a portable PC, yeah. It runs on a Linux-based OS to start, and it's got a Steam UI, which you can use to download games or load up your account. And you've got cloud saves, so you can just play the game, upload your save, go to your home PC, pull down the saves, and continue playing, which is super awesome. So it's got all the bells and whistles, all the niceties that you would get with Steam, which is super cool. It's flexible, so you can flash the hard drive if you wanted to put your own OS on there. Super cool. I guess we should probably get into some of the specs, right? It's got a 7-inch touchscreen, which I think is comparable to the new Switch OLED size-wise. It's got an 8 RDNA 2 compute units, right, for the GPU, 16 gigs of RAM, and it comes in 4 configurations for storage: 64 gig, 256, and a 512. They're all SSD, I believe, and starts at $399, goes all the way up to $649. So out of the gate, this is a higher money proposition than the Switch OLED by $50 for the base unit. So I think that's worth saying. Now, it is almost double the power of a Nintendo Switch. That's also worth saying. It's a beefy boy.
People were saying that this is legit PS4, a PS4 portable, right? Like it's as powerful as the PS4.
Sure. I mean, they say that, according to all the kind of early reviews and from Valve itself, they say that you can run all current gen video games on like medium to high settings, and you should have a good time. So that says a lot. We don't necessarily know because we don't have them in our hands yet. But
can I run Cyberpunk on this? That's all I want to know. Can Cyberpunk be played on the go?
I don't know why you'd want to, but if Dan Robinson wants to go down that road, I'm gonna put a maybe. Hard to say.
Okay.
They did mention Doom Eternal though, and they said Doom Eternal would work. So I think that's the game I'd want to play on the go over Cyberpunk.
What? Doom Eternal worked perfectly on the PS4, not Cyberpunk.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So
Doom Eternal was good.
That's my measuring stick. Can I play Cyberpunk? Can that work on this?
Mm-hmm. And I guess also, well, yeah, I guess also too, it's fair to mention that they say about 8 hours on light usage, and I think that's probably going to equate to about 2.5 hours of like actual gameplay, like a Cyberpunk or a Doom Eternal session, right? You may get a couple hours
normal.
out of it.
I mean, that's a typical Switch, right?
I think so. If you were loading up Zelda, the Breath of the Wild, you'd probably get about 2.5 hours, maybe 3 if you're lucky. But yeah.
Now, who is this for? Is this for you? Is this something that you're interested in? I mean, they said it's maybe released in December, so late this year, which I think is probably going to get delayed, right, out into early, maybe 2022. But
right.
Who is this for?
Well, it is and it isn't for me. Am I interested in it? 100%. Is it something I would buy if I had enough extra money to throw around? Sure. Am I going to get it? No. And I'll tell you why. All right. So, and I was talking about this with a coworker of mine who mentioned, "Hey, is anybody going to get this new thing?" And we had a bit of a conversation. I was like, "I already own a Switch. I own 2 Switches. You own 3, right?
About to own 4."
Right. Most of the games that the Steam Deck, I hate that name, that the Steam Deck will play.
Just call it the Steam Pro. I'm calling it the Steam Pro.
There you go.
The Steam Deck.
Most of the games that the Steam Pro will play, I can play on my Switch. That includes Doom Eternal. That includes Wolfenstein. It already has all those games. It has all the good indie games and more. And it'll play battle royale games like Fortnite, and it'll play the soccer car game Rocket League, right? So it plays a lot. Plus, you get Nintendo exclusives on top of that in a portable system that is very competent. Obviously, it's not as powerful as this, so I don't know. I don't see a super huge value in it right off the gate. Now, it is kind of cool that I can play my Steam library at home or on the go, pick up the save and keep going. Like, that's like kind of cool. And it does have like the touch pads, which I'm curious to try out. It's got a nice big screen. But yeah, probably not going to get it. Now, I would think this would be a Dan Robinson get, because you don't have a PC right now, right? You're a Mac guy, and you've been wanting to break into PC gaming, and you're like, well, how do I do it and not break the bank? And I would say this is a good proposition. This is a way to do it and not break the bank.
I have no interest in this at all. Whatsoever.
See, I'm surprised. Why?
I have no interest for some of the same reasons.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting the Switch OLED off the back. I'm spending $350 already on another handheld console. I can't imagine 2 months later coming out of pocket $400 minimum, right? An extra $400, $400 to $700.
Mm-hmm.
Can't imagine doing that 2 months later after spending $350 on a Switch OLED.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. But you're buying the same exact Switch again, just with an OLED screen. The value you're getting out of the Nintendo system is better visuals. Well, better color, I should say. Better blacks, better whites.
Yes. And all the games that I would play on Steam, I would play on the Switch. And this Steam Pro can't even play Cyberpunk that we know of.
Well, we don't know that. Okay? We don't necessarily
that we know of, to be fair. To be fair. If you say it can play Cyberpunk, I would be intrigued. Okay? I'll be intrigued.
All right. I mean, I don't know why that's the benchmark. That's a very odd benchmark right there. I mean, the fact that it can play Doom Eternal on medium to high settings, according to them at least, kind of says a lot.
Well, here's another reason. I mean, what happened to all of those home console the Steam boxes, right? Like, see how long that lasted, and they supported it, right? It didn't last very long. They didn't.
Well, there were other issues with that. I don't necessarily think it was a power issue in that case. I don't think it was like for lack of power and whatever else. Well, that may have been part of it. There was a ton of different models that all these different companies were putting out for sure.
Well, but look how long they supported that. If this becomes obsolete within 2 years, then what are they going to do? How are they going to support this? You can't upgrade it by any means, right? This is a portable system that's not upgraded.
Well, it's the same as the Nintendo Switch, right? Like, that's a system you can't upgrade. It is what it is.
True. But they're going to make games that will be specifically for the Switch because Nintendo is quality control. It's they're going to be, I guarantee you in 2 years from now, they're going to be games that you're not going to be able to play on the Steam Pro because it's not going to be powerful enough because it's going to be obsolete 2 years later. 2 to 3 years later.
I mean, look, you're 100% right, but how much do you want to get out of it, right? If you're saying, hey, I want this to last a console generation, right, 4 to 5 years, I want to be able to play 70 to 75% of the stuff out there. I think that's fair. Maybe even 80% of the games out there.
The Switch is going to be, they said 10 years long, and we're already at year 5, right? So we got hopefully another 5 years of games that are guaranteed to work on the Switch. 4 years from now, when Red Dead 3 is out, I know, or Grand Theft Auto 6, right, comes out, that's probably not going to be playable on the Steam Pro.
Well, here's what you could do to mitigate that, which is what every console game maker does, even on the PS5 and even on the Series X, is you build it for your platform, right? If you consider the Steam Deck to be like the Switch, where it's a finite, it's a known quantity of power, RAM, disk storage, whatever, battery life, you can build settings into your games that are optimized for the Steam Deck. And there you go, right? Like, they're legit PC games, so you get fine granularity over the control. So even if the developer doesn't make like an optimized setting, you could get in there, mess with all the Cyberpunk sliders, and turn it into a playable game, right? And it'll be an experience like you're playing it on your Switch, or like you're playing it on a PS4 Pro or an Xbox One X or whatever. You won't get the fanciest visuals like you would on a high powered PC rig, but that's not the point. The point is
that's the
portability and playability.
That's the difference between a PC guy and a Mac guy.
Mm-hmm.
A PC person and a Mac person. A Mac person like me just wants to use it. I want to turn it on. I want it to work. Period. Point blank. I don't want to go into the PC. I don't want to have to change anything. I don't have to configure anything. I don't have to. Why is this not working? Because I have the wrong configurations. Because I forgot to click a switch in one setting, some random setting. Because you have all the settings to your disposal that you can play with.
They give you full control. They give you full control.
And you forget to click this one this one setting that's in somewhere minute that you didn't even think to click on. Where when you're the Mac guy, when you're a console gamer, it just works. And that's
tell me tell me again how many games you can play on Mac. Tell me how many games again you can play on Mac. Is it 0?
I can play Grand Theft Auto.
What Grand Theft Auto 4?
I have Grand Theft Auto on my Mac. I got it for free. They were giving it away for free a couple of years ago.
I mean, look. I get what you're saying, and the way to mitigate that is for developers to put in a Steam Deck preset. Now you just go in and turn on Optimize for Steam Deck, and they'll just auto configure the stuff for you, and then you're good to go. I don't know if game developers are actually going to go the distance and do that. If it becomes a viable product, that would be a good idea. So, because you just kind of have to have the system there, test it out with the different settings. Okay, here's what we found that works best for this system, and it'll get you the best visual quality without dipping below 30 frames a second or whatever it is. Okay. That's a possibility. That's a thing that could happen.
I'm going to take it from a different approach. I think Nintendo is going to keep a close eye on the Steam Deck or the Steam Pro. Sorry, not calling it Steam Deck. It's the Steam Pro.
I'm with you.
And I'll tell you why. Because I think Nintendo was never putting out a Switch Pro this early. I think they were always going to do maybe the OLED screen, right, to keep the Switch sales up. And then when the Switch sales start to decline in a couple of years because the technology is a little bit older, then they would come with the Switch Pro, essentially, right? This is the more powerful Switch. It could play, PS4 Pro and Xbox, One X style games on the go. That was going to be the big, here's gaming on the go. But now Valve beat them to the punch with something that's essentially double the power of the Switch, right?
It kills it in power, yeah.
Yeah, at these price points. So now I think Nintendo, they can't just come with, this is a Switch Pro, double the power in 4 years. Like I think they were thinking about, right? In the year 2025 or something, come out with the Switch Pro. It has to be much more than that. I think it has to be more than that. If the Steam Pro is even semi-successful. They have to come to the table with something much more. It has to be 4K gaming on the go, essentially, for that to work.
Right.
So I think Nintendo is keeping a lookout on this.
To bring this into, I guess to be fair to the whole conversation too, Valve is not the first one doing a portable. I think Acer has one out. Maybe Asus has one out too. So they have other models that are out there. I don't necessarily know if they're as sleek. I think they may even be a little bit more expensive. Could be a little bit thicker around the edges. They obviously don't have the little touch pads on there, but they have options you can go ahead and put out there. Valve is a huge company. Valve is going to put all their effort into this and try and support it for as long as possible. So, it makes it a little bit more of a threat, I guess, in this case. So I think you're right. I think Nintendo's looking at this and going, wow, this could really bite into our sales because now we have like a real competition in the portable space, right? And it's technically a hybrid console because you can dock it, right? And then you can play it up on the big screen, so it acts like a home console, right? It fits in that same niche that the Nintendo Switch does at double the power for technically only $50 more for the base unit. It's really, as far as I understand, it's a storage configuration issue. So I don't know if they have an SD card slot. I would have to assume that there's an SD card slot on there. So if you wanted to...
100% there has to be a card slot. 100%.
Right.
Micro SD.
So if you want to get the base unit, it's only $50 more than the Switch OLED to get double the power in a portable system. That's not bad.
I found it interesting. I always find it interesting when like the companies like congratulate each other, right? Like when PlayStation, when the PS5 launched, Xbox congratulated PlayStation.
Yeah.
And then the Xbox launched and PlayStation congratulated Xbox. So Epic tweeted out like a congratulations to Valve on their announcement.
Wow, so look at them trying to be civil. That's interesting.
I wonder if we're gonna get like an Epic deck.
Epic Pro deck. You know what? If the Steam thing is successful, because I don't see the Epic Game Store going away anytime soon. I bet they would try and do something similar.